All right, this is my official duel challenge to Koonlay. If you're still here, by the end, we will fight. I can't say anything. It's like I'm a stormtrooper. This is why they're bad. But it's going to go over here. He seems like a nice guy, though. When they give out the awards at the end for who the most badass TED speaker was, it's going to be tight between me and Koonlay. Is he even still here? Yeah! Koonlay. Hi, I'm Brian Crosby. I'm a writer, as we did that already. I've written for some television shows you may have heard of. I wrote for This Hour's 22 Minutes, the Royal Canadian Air Force. Hey! Television. Good times. When I was invited to do this talk, it was a little bittersweet, to be honest. Not the TED part. The TED part is great. I think TED is amazing, and I'm really happy to be asked. But I was a little disappointed that I wasn't being asked back to York to time travel 10 years into my past and slap myself in the face, which has always been a dream of mine. Unfortunately, my baser instincts won out, so I'm going to do that talk, if that's okay. The slap myself in the face talk. I went to this school for a couple of years, about 10 years ago. I was a theater student here. If there are any creative people in the crowd, I'm sure there's got to be some, you've got to know how challenging it is to decide to be somebody who's going to make stuff. Do you guys know Ira Glass? He's a producer of a radio show in the States called This American Life. He's got this quote that circles around the internet all the time, and it's amazing, and people need to know this. Young Brian needs to know this. He needs to know this quote, and I'm not going to display it. I'm just going to summarize it for you. Essentially, what Ira Glass says is that when you start doing something creative, there's this huge gap between your abilities and your taste. You get into something because you have great taste. You go to a movie, you're like, I love that movie. I want to make a movie like that. But you suck. You don't know that you suck. You got great taste. If I have great taste, it must be good, right? It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. By this, I mean, can I get the clicker thing? Sorry, I didn't bring it out. Already a bad idea. Thanks, sir. Join everybody! Young Brian needs to know that all of his ideas are bad, because he doesn't know that yet. Young Brian. This is really important. You need to start narrowing that gap. How do I know all of young Brian's ideas are bad? Because I'm old Brian. I've already lived all the bad ideas. Young Brian and old Brian, that conversation will be won by old Brian. Young Brian's got nothing. Okay? How do I know? I can prove it. I can prove the ideas are bad. Because I have them in my pocket. We're going to go back. 1999. A whole century ago. I was still in high school in 1999. I was in drama class. I don't know what you guys do in your grade 12 drama class. I'm assuming it's Shakespeare or something. You're doing Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, or I don't know what you do. In my drama class, we did sketch comedy shows because my high school drama teacher was a stand-up comedian. I don't know who knows anything about Shakespeare. It didn't come up. This was really good for me because I was already doing that sort of thing. I was doing a lot of improv and sketch comedy at that point. So this was great. Somehow I'd managed to convince the school to let me take Drama 12 and Calculus in the exact same period because I wanted to take Drama 12, but I had to take Calculus for some reason. That was the only good idea young Brian ever had. So we're doing Drama 12, you get to the end of the year. I'm writing a lot for this show. I'm writing a lot for the show because I'm into this sort of thing. And I remember one night I wake up, I bolt out of bed, and I've got this idea. It's the greatest comedy idea ever conceived in the middle of the night. And I write it down, and I go to sleep. And I wake up in the morning, and it's still funny, which doesn't happen. And I go to school the next day, and I give it to Maynard. His name's Maynard. His first name, he's cool that way. I go, hey, Maynard, yeah, I wrote this last night. He was cool, we'll do it. Let's put it up on its feet. So he gets a couple of the hockey bros that are in this class, cast the hockey bros in it, and they do it. And it sucks. And I go, well, that's not my fault. It's the hockey bros. They don't know how to deliver expert genius comedy. Here it is. This is the whole thing. A southern man stands in his yard watering his driveway. A southern man. A southern man stands in his yard watering his driveway. His neighbor walks over. Hey, Jed, what are you doing? My driveway is dirty. My wife asked me to come out here and clean it. Oh, she's a real ball buster, huh? Yeah, gotta get this done. Then, all of a sudden, a cow drops out of the sky, crushes the neighbor gruesomely, and the guy says, "Ah, damn, I'm never gonna get this driveway clean." What the hell is that? So we do it. We're going to do it. It's up on its feet. We do it a bunch of times. It's not getting any better. Nobody's laughing. I don't know how many times we had to do that. I don't know what day it was, but there was a day when I'm watching it, and it's been the 10th time, and it's still not funny, and there's a crack in the armor, and I think, oh man, maybe it's not the hockey bros. Maybe it's me. And then I know that it's bad. And I go to Susan, my friend Susan's co-directing the play. I go to Susan and go, hey, look, nobody ever laughs at this thing. I think we shouldn't do it. And she says, oh, thank God. And she's like, it's bad? And she's like, it's really bad, Brian. It's bad, man. And it's like, why don't you say something? Because we're friends and whatever. Okay, well, we're a team. We're united. Susan and I, we go to Maynard. It's Maynard, hey, buddy, listen. I don't think we should do the cow sketch. He says, why? And I'm like, I don't think it's any good. I wrote it. I don't think it's any good. Susan, she's my friend. She's directing. She doesn't think it's good. Let's not do it. And he says, I think it's all right. You think it's all right? You're a professional comedian. You think it's all right? I'm like, look, Maynard, I don't think we should do it. I wrote it, directing, we shouldn't do it. He says, we're going to do it. And then I knew he was making this a teachable moment. He was going to make me stand in the room when we do this show with paying customers, friends and family and community leaders who have come to see what have we spent our time on in high school. And we're going to do the cow sketch, and you, Brian, are going to stand there and watch it tank. That's what that teachable moment was. And he did, and I did, and it sucked. It's so hard to stand in a room and watch everybody hate you. They don't even know who they hate. It's like they're looking around for the responsible one. But you know it's you. The rest of the show is great. There's good things in it, but there's this chunk in the middle. There's like a minute and a half of just awful silence. Oh, but young Brian thinks, I've learned my lesson, have I not? We've moved on, have we not? I will evolve, I'll grow, and I did, sure. We moved to Toronto, I did the theater school thing, I left theater school, wrote a lot, did a lot of shows. Got better, sure. Went to Chicago a couple of times for some festivals. My friends and I went to Montreal, we did some festivals. I met a guy, I've got this stack of stuff. He reads the things. That guy's Roger Rabbit. He's like, hey, you want to write for this television show? Oh my God. Yeah, that would be amazing. I don't want to make mistakes anymore, right? I meet another guy, meet another guy. Hey, do you want to write this 22 minutes thing? Yeah, that would be amazing. 22 minutes is a challenging show to write for. That show goes through material like a wood chipper. It's constant. You like it. You turn on the show and you're like, I don't have to worry about how this was produced. It's hilarious. It's challenging. There are maybe 8 writers in that room. We're writing hundreds of jokes. How many do you actually get to see on TV when the show gets put out? 12? What percentage is that? Like 1? There's a lot of bad jokes. We know we're going to write bad jokes. That's cool. Our bad joke pile is giant. Our good joke pile is this. That's fine. I'm on my first week of the show. You're trying to make a good impression. You want people to like you. They want you to think you're doing a good job. You're burning through these jokes. The producer's going to be here in 5 minutes, and you got to have 30 jokes and write a joke. Write the jokes fast. And I write this joke. You put it on the pile. There's no names on it, by the way. They look exactly like this. 1 joke per page, anonymous. And the producer just burns through them. And he's reading all the jokes, and he reads this one. Here's the joke. After losing to an appeal board, some Vancouver residents are furious that they have to put up with the smell of a nearby rendering plant. Said one resident, 2 can play at that game. What does that mean? I don't know. And he reads it. Normally, right, they're bad, right? You burn through the bad ones. He does the exact same thing. He reads it, and he looks up, and he goes, what does this mean? And the other guy's like, I don't know. They didn't write it, so they don't know. Like, I don't know. No, what does this mean? Who wrote this? What does this mean? And I don't know. I don't know what it means. I had an idea, like half of an idea when it was coming out, and it didn't get there, and it doesn't matter. That explanation is irrelevant. It didn't happen on the page. I have no excuses. I just say I don't know. That sucked. Because that's almost like a full-on admission that you failed. 10 years ago, I would almost argue that all of my ideas were bad ideas. And there are a lot of good moments in between. I mean, I just covered 10 years of my life. A lot of good moments in between, a lot of good ideas in between. So they're getting fewer, you know? But the day you write that, all your ideas are bad again. But why is that important? This is important because you need those bad ideas. Now, I love my bad ideas. Because I know on the other side of that joke is a good joke. If I didn't write that one, I never would have gotten to the good ones. And I don't need to tell that story to you. Because feeling good about yourself is not a message. Like, I did something good and I feel good. Cool, that's the end of that story. On the other side of that pile of crap is some gold that I did write. And that's what young Brian needs to learn. He needs to know that all of his ideas are bad, and that's okay. He needs to know that if you're coming to this school, if you're in a theater department or a visual art department, or I assume, quite honestly, the physics department, and you're starting out, you have a huge gap between your ability and your taste. You need to know that, and you need to embrace it, and you need to start making a lot of bad ideas now, fast. And that's cool. The way that I look at it often, you guys ever hear Zeno's paradox? This idea, he's a Greek guy, I didn't make it up, I swear. This idea that an object can never reach its destination because first it must travel half the distance, and then it must travel half that distance, and half that distance so it never gets there. To write is that. When people are in here today saying, we're making impacts today. How do we make impacts? How do we make businesses that work? As a writer, it doesn't work that way. Getting to the point where you make an impact is a consequence of your process. Is a consequence of making a slew of bad ideas until you get to a good one. So being a writer means getting up every day and having the distance. Not necessarily getting up every day and thinking, how do I make the impact? Just have the distance. Thank you.